Rihanna has long been recognized as a powerhouse in the music industry, an icon who transcends any single genre. Since debuting as a teenager, she has consistently reinvented her sound, dabbled in fashion, launched cutting-edge ventures, and built a global empire marked by creativity and fearlessness. Whether unveiling an album that pushes the boundaries of pop or orchestrating extravagant runway events for her latest designs, Rihanna embodies an unwavering sense of self.
Will be that the man in the black sweatshirt was the defendant, Rakeem Myers. That evidence will be uncontradicted.
This case is all about money. You're going to see the only reason we're in this courtroom is because Rocky would not agree to be a victim of another one of his crimes.
A$AP Rocky's future is on the line as he stands trial accused of firing a gun at his former friend during a 2021 showdown. While prosecutors build their case on a key witness and surveillance clips, the defense is arguing there are questionable motives behind the accusations. We're going to break all this down right now with acclaimed attorney Bradford Cohen. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. What began as an alleged altercation in 2021 has now become a courtroom drama, with Rocky's future all hanging in the balance. Now, A$AP Rocky, born Rakeem Myers, made his name in 2011 with his smash hit Peso, and it solidified his place in hip-hop history as a founding member of the iconic A$AP Mob Collective. But beyond his music, you might know him for other things because he has become a fashion mogul. He's in a very high-profile relationship with global superstar Rihanna, the mother of his 2 children. But now, Rocky is at the center of a legal storm, accused of firing a gun at his former friend, Terrell A$AP Relly Efron.
In the midst of it all, Rihanna has found herself in the eye of the storm, trying to process the possibility that Rocky might be facing a far more difficult road ahead than anticipated. Fans and commentators alike have followed her evolution with fascination. The Barbadian singer, who once delivered sweet, Caribbean-tinged anthems, has grown into a visionary mogul whose opinions resonate far beyond music. Yet, despite her fierce persona and calm composure in the face of controversy, rumors are now swirling that she may be reaching a breaking point over an ongoing legal matter involving her partner, A$AP Rocky. For those unaware, Rihanna and A$AP have been linked both professionally and personally. According to various accounts, Rocky's involvement in a trial has turned complicated, partly because someone within his own circle, some say a longtime associate of A$AP Mob, has shared information in court that does not bode well for the rapper. Official details remain sketchy, fueling a storm of online gossip and speculation. Fans who once admired A$AP Mob as a united, family-like crew are now grappling with the idea that there may be hidden tensions, misunderstandings, or pressures at play.
The evidence in this case.
Reports suggest that she's deeply upset. Some say she's livid about the unexpected turn of events and the secrecy shrouding the situation. Meanwhile, whispers hint that some big names could be called to weigh in on Rocky's character. Within entertainment circles, it's not uncommon for high-profile figures to offer testimonies or statements supporting a friend in a tough legal jam. That possibility raises the question, would Rihanna step into such a role if invited? While the notion of her testifying might sound far-fetched, fans aren't dismissing it out of hand. After all, she knows Rocky well, and her words could carry significant influence. On the other hand, stepping into the legal spotlight could invite even more scrutiny, something that Rihanna has skillfully avoided whenever possible. Lawyers might advise both Rocky and her to keep such appearances to a minimum.
I never enjoyed the music business.
I heard that.
The politics, man, it's like for me, man, everything that ever worked for me was unorthodox. They follow a certain formula, which is traditional, and, not knocking it. I just don't think that formula applies to this.
Especially if the case is delicate and might be exploited by tabloids looking for sensational headlines. Stepping into the legal spotlight could come with significant risks. Apart from that, some insiders suggest that Rihanna may be privately supporting Rocky in practical ways, including providing resources or connecting him with strategic advisors. A star of her caliber has access to a wide network of professionals, from public relations experts to legal consultants. Having endured her fair share of controversies, Rihanna has learned how to emerge stronger. If she's channeling her frustration into something constructive, she could be helping Rocky make careful decisions about how to handle the situation.
I think is also interesting. And it goes to the fact of whether or not you think women are a better selection than men. There's a lot that goes into that. and the women, depending on what the women answered to some of those questions. Sometimes in gun cases, you don't want a heavy amount of women on your jury because...
Or if she needs to set the record straight. Still, the term loses it is strong, and some fans argue that media outlets are being dramatic. Perhaps Rihanna's response was passionate but measured, and now it's being amplified for clicks. The gap between a heated conversation behind closed doors and a full-blown meltdown is wide, yet the public only receives tidbits of information. A single phrase reported by an unnamed source. She was furious, can balloon into headlines about an epic confrontation. Such distortions are common in celebrity reporting, where nuance often gets lost for the sake of dramatic effect. Rihanna might simply be doing what anyone would in her position, expressing frustration at a messy situation, seeking reassurance about Rocky's well-being, and exploring possible solutions. Interestingly, this trial also reopens discussion about the intricacies of ASAP Mob's internal relationships.
You're afraid they may never shot a gun. They may have never saw a gun. Now, in this case, where they're saying it was a starter pistol, if there's no experts testifying, which I find hard to believe, but if there's no experts testifying and you got 7 women and 5 men, it could be that those 7 women never fired a weapon. I don't know. Those are questions you got to ask the jury. Maybe the 5 guys never fired a weapon. You're talking about Los Angeles, where the gun laws are much more strict than in the rest of the country. Right. So it could be that no one on that jury ever fired a weapon or ever handled a weapon or ever saw a weapon. What's interesting is I just got a text back from one of my friends at the FBI who is also a qualified firearms expert, because I'm wondering, is there a starter pistol that's semi-automatic? That's the one question in my mind, because I've never seen one. I just got a text from him that says there's not a starter pistol that's semi-automatic, but there is a blank firing look-alike gun that you could use that is semi-automatic. It won't give you 9mm shells, obviously, because it's not meant to fire real projectiles, nor could you ever fire real projectiles from it. But he says there is one that exists, and it is from China. So I stand corrected in regard to whether or not, like I said, the thing that threw me off was that it was a starter pistol. That was the thing that threw me off, because it's not really a starter pistol. That no one placed it there, that no one put fingerprints on it, that no one put DNA on it, that they didn't collect it from another area where they knew that individual might have DNA on it from, let's say, a gun range or something of that nature, and they collected it and they dropped it on the scene. That's why you need to establish a chain of custody. That's number one. That's the worst part of it. Most judges will argue, oh, the chain of custody is important, but it goes to the weight of the evidence, meaning they're not going to eliminate that evidence just because they don't establish a chain of custody, which I happen to disagree with. But they say it goes to the weight. The jury can still look at the evidence, but they're going to determine whether or not to say, yeah, this is good evidence or bad evidence. That's number one for the state. That really hurts them. Number two is,
this approach might not grab headlines the way a public rant would, but it could prove far more effective in the long run. One must also consider how this drama affects Rihanna's own mental space. Juggling her brand, fashion lines, philanthropic projects, potential music releases, and personal life is enough to keep her calendar packed.
It's more for it's like a fake prop gun. Then if the state is not putting forward an expert to say that is not a starter pistol, I am an expert in this area, maybe an FBI agent or something like that. And I can tell you just from looking at this video, they don't make semi-automatic, starter pistols. Right. Then, that obviously, then it's a battle of experts.
Yep. And let's talk about that battle. So the jury heard opening statements, and in the prosecution's opening statement, attorney Paul Przlomy argued that the video evidence is indisputable, and it will establish Rocky's role in this altercation.
The second person who you see, who is instantly confrontational with Mr. Efron, is the defendant, Mr. Mayers. You see on the video that Mr. Mayers is immediately aggressive towards Mr. Efron.
Legal issue into the mix, especially when it involves someone she loves, can be an emotional strain. Hollywood is rife with stories of talented individuals who struggle to manage the constant churn of speculation and pressure. Yet, Rihanna has historically found creative outlets when facing stress. Whether she channels it into new designs, hidden Easter eggs in social media posts, or even future musical endeavors, she's not one to stay silent if she believes her voice can be a force for change.
Whatever it is, And that helps you, right? And you might not be able to see all that. So number one is, I'm sure he has a jury consultant. Number two is, there's a lot of reports that say out of the 106 potential jurors, only 4 were African American. Now in LA County, in terms of the pool itself, in LA County, you have about a 10 or 11% of the population is African American. So it doesn't match the population of the county you're in. So that's kind of the argument, right? And you make that argument at the beginning of the case and you say, hey, listen, judge, we got to start all over again. We got to strike this whole panel. It doesn't represent the county. It doesn't represent the proper percentages. There's only 4 out of 106, and there should be 11 or 12 out of 106. So those are arguments to be made, and those might be preserved for appeal. And Joe has been to trial many, many times. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's been to battle, a lot of times. He knows what the appellate issues are. He knows what to raise, and I guarantee you, he did raise that at some portion of the trial. Might have been sidebar or something like that, but that it wasn't typical. It did not represent the county, that pool. So that's going to be interesting. I think the makeup of 7 men, of 7 women, 5 men. I think
he's pulling at Mr. Efron's sweatshirt and he's pushing.
Rocky has long been the face of the collective, admired for his style and progressive take on hip-hop. Fans who romanticized the group as an unbreakable brotherhood are now grappling with the realization that internal friendships aren't always as unshakable as they appear. As speculation about testimony from within the group intensifies, people are scrutinizing past interactions, social media posts, and side projects to detect signs of tension. The core question, how could this happen to such a united crew, mirrors fans' broader fascination with seeing behind the curtain of celebrity circles, where public camaraderie can mask private disagreements. For Rihanna, who is fiercely private about many aspects of her life, the trial's escalation might feel like a betrayal of trust. Not just for Rocky, but for everyone who believed in the authenticity of these bonds.
Little installation, art installation at this motel, and it was Miguel's party. And we went there, and I kind of just went through the rooms, landed on this karaoke room, and I saw Mary J. Blige on, because it was, they had a small list. So I was just fingers crossed they got something in there that I love.
She's known for handpicking collaborators and maintaining tight-knit circles of friends who genuinely share her values. If an associate is indeed complicating Rocky's case for reasons unknown, do it due to personal grudges, legal pressure, or a misunderstanding, it challenges the idea that loyalty is always guaranteed in the entertainment world. This underscores the reality that public figures, however glamorous their images, are not immune to the complexities of everyday life. They face potential pitfalls in business, friendships, and family matters, just like anyone else. The main difference is the scale of visibility. When Rihanna feels wronged, or when Rocky struggles with legal obstacles, millions of people notice, and countless more speculate.